Hey YouTube, welcome to my channel. Please ignore the wig in the back. Today's video is going to be a tutorial on how to crochet this messenger bag. I posted this bag on my Instagram and I got a lot of compliments, and I posted it on my YouTube, Pinterest, TikTok, everywhere. I did a recent poll of what you guys would like to see from me next, and majority of people voted messenger bag tutorial. So this is the original version that I made in September last year. It's the exact same pattern, so I just recreated it for this video, and I also got it commissioned, so it was great timing. I originally made this for my laptop to fit in it to take to university, but honestly, I use this bag for everything. It is my most used crochet item. I love it so much. It's perfect for the fall and the winter, and it's lasted me a year, guys. So this is going to be a crossbody bag just because it's quite big. The dimensions are going to be in the description box below. If you have any questions, let me know and I will try to get back to you. Something really important to do after this tutorial is to make sure you line the bag. I say that at the end as well, but that really makes it last much longer. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Shit. So I am gonna stick to the original color scheme and go with really earthy green and brown kind of tone colors, but you can do any colorway that you want. But if you're gonna do this one, make sure that you're going with brown, green, natural colors that you would see in nature. Just got this velvet yarn for a different texture. It kind of reminds me of moss. I think that's why I got it. And then random flowers will be like pink, and mohair texture is really, really good for flowers. Also this beautiful green. So this bag is made up of two panels. It's going to be the front panel, which is over here, the back panel, as well as the side panel. The front panel, the back panel, and the side panel are all double crochet, US terms. The side panel is one long panel that goes into the strap, and the strap turns into single crochet. Then we're going to do an extra flap over here. Guys, don't mind all the loose ends. It's not going to look like this when we do it again. I was just a bit more new to crochet when I did this. So this project is very much to your own liking. You can get so creative with this because you're just constantly switching out colors and doing new yarns and whatnot. It's such a beautiful project to express your creative freedom. So let's get started. So for this project, we will be doubling up by using two different yarns. The first color is going to be brown, and it's going to remain the same, and it's going to be throughout the project. And then the second color is what changes and what gives this kind of gradient look. So that is where I switched out and put all these different greens, different browns, mohair. That's the second color. So whenever we switch colors, we are only switching the second yarn and not the brown. I'm using a weight 4 yarn, and I'm putting two of them together, two of the same yarn together, and I'm using a 5.5 millimeter hook. So the first step would be to make a slip knot and then chain 38. Now this is the back panel, but it's also the front panel because we're doing the same thing. For the front panel, I will show you how to add beads. And then from the fourth bump from my hook, so 1, 2, 3, in this fourth one, I will do my double crochet. So I'm going to go in there, oops, and then do a double crochet. Then I'm going to put a stitch marker right inside that double crochet, the top of it, and then I'm going to double crochet in each stitch. It should be a little bit of a struggle to crochet. That's how you know you've done it tight enough. So make sure that you're struggling just a little bit. So I'll meet you back when I'm finished this row. And at the end, you should have 36 stitches. So I have 2 more double crochets to do. And at this point, you can actually cut off your scrap yarn, but not the brown, just one of like the second color. And when you do that last double crochet, oh gosh, what is this? You can do it halfway. So you do it once. And then if you really wanted to change right now, you can add in a new color. So for instance, I can add in this green, the old brown, and the new color. I'm gonna hold and I'm going to yarn over and pull it through that last double crochet that we did of row 1. And then I'm just gonna chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And then this chain 3 counts as a stitch as well as the first one we did. And then we will double crochet once again into the next stitch. So over here, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and so on. We're gonna end up doing this for 20 rows. So 20 rows altogether. And you can change colors whenever you please. Honestly, it's just like whatever you feel like. You can even go 2 rows with the same color, then switch it up after the third. You know, it's all up to you. And just remember that the chain 3 at the end of the row counts as a stitch. So I'm at the end of the row, and I'm going to take my stitch marker out, and I'm going to double crochet for this double crochet right here. This is my 35th double crochet. And then where the chain 3 is, I'm going to make sure that I go inside of that and also do a double crochet. It's a bit hard to get into it, but it's okay, just put it in there. And that's my 36th stitch, which is a double crochet. And then at the end of this row, I'm now going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go across. Now, I just personally want to do a little bit more of this green. So I'm going to keep going with this green. But you could also, you know, do the tactic that we did earlier and change colors if you wanted to. When it comes to yarn like this velvet yarn, don't do double crochet. If you have velvet yarn, don't do double crochet. Do single crochet because it's so big that double crochet is not going to look good. So if you have this velvet yarn, make sure you do single crochets, but just make sure that you are going into these chain 3s at the end and you're doing a double crochet, because I know that part is a bit tricky to understand. If you're unsure, just count at the end of your rows and make sure you have 36 altogether, including the chain 3, okay? So I just finished my back panel. I did 20 rows of double crochet. And after that, you're going to weave in all the ends, and we're going to do the exact same thing for the front panel, but we are going to be adding beads. So I'll show you guys how I add beads to my crochet. So I'm going to show you guys how I add beads to this project. There's 2 ways. I'll show you the first way first. So you're going to need a tapestry needle as well as your yarn and the beads. Usually you're gonna need a smaller needle, just one that can fit through the hole of the bead. Also guys, I get so many questions about this case. If you wanna learn how to make this case, I have a free YouTube tutorial on my YouTube. You're gonna get your needle and you're gonna put your yarn through the eye of the needle. This yarn is the yarn that I'm not changing in the project. It's the brown one that is throughout the project. You're gonna get all the beads that you want and just thread them through this yarn. 1, 2, 3. You will take the short end of the yarn, add it to the yarn that you're working with. So I've just put this at the back like this, and I'm holding everything. And all you do is just crochet normally like this. You continue crocheting, and eventually you will take these and weave them in. So now at any point you can get your bead, whatever bead you want, and push it to the front, right? And make sure that every bead is going to be on the same side. Try to manipulate where it goes by doing your normal stitching and double crochet and just put it through like this. So the bead is facing me, meaning this has to be the side facing outside of the bag. Once we put these two together, it can't be like this, right? Because the bead is facing the inside. It has to be this way. So I finished completing both of my panels, both 20 rows, and now we're going to make the flap. So the flap is the part that kind of closes in, and what you're going to do is you're going to choose which one you want to be your back panel now and choose which one you want to be your front panel. Just make sure that you're keeping in mind that half of the front panel is going to be covered by the flap that we're about to do, okay? So to do the flap, we are going to chain 3 again at the very end of your 20th row. Then we're going to turn the work. And now the only difference is we are going to be crocheting in the back loop only. The back loop is the loop furthest away from you, so it'll be this loop. So after we chain 3, we are going to do a double crochet in the back loop only, just like this, right here. And you're going to do a double crochet as normal. And you will repeat this throughout the whole row. So one back loop, only double crochet, second, third, and you're going to reach 36, just like we've been doing normally. So I'm at the very end and I'm in the chain 3. I'm just going to put it in the back loop. If there even is one, it's kind of hard, but it doesn't really matter. And so now I want to change colors, and I'm going to start my second row of the flap. Going to the second row, and I've just changed colors. Now we will chain 3 once again, 1, 2, 3. And for row 2, we are going to go under both loops. So we're no longer going on the back loop only, just both loops. And we're going to do double crochets in every row, in every stitch. So we don't put it in the back loop only from now on. We're putting it in both loops, the way we did the whole pattern. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rows. I'm now on the 10th row. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3 on this 10th row. I've chained 3. And then we are immediately going to decrease at this side. So we're going to do a double crochet decrease like this. You go halfway on the first double crochet, and then you start the second double crochet in the next stitch, and then you pull through all 3. That's how you do a double crochet decrease. And then you're going to normally do double crochets. So for this row, for the last row only, we are going to count this decrease as 1 stitch, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to go all the way up to 16. And on that 16th double crochet, we will then chain 1, skip a stitch, and then continue the rest. 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then we're going to do a decrease for the last 2 double crochets, and one of those is the chain 3. We're going to continue until we have 2 stitches left, and in those 2 stitches we will enact, or I said enact, we are going to place a decrease. 1 here, the second decrease will be there. Pull through 3. Then we're going to chain 1 and cut off. And we are done with the panels. So it should look like this at the very end. There should be a little hole over here, and this is where we're going to attach a button. Okay? If you don't want to do this, you don't have to. You could do it normally and not skip anything. And you could just put like a metal clasp or like a bow. I don't know. Anything you want to do. The next thing we are going to do is the side panel. So this will go all around the bag and it's going to turn into the strap. So the first step is to make a slip knot. Once again, we are going to chain 10 chains and then we are going to skip the first 3 bumps. Once again, the chain 3 does count as a stitch. And then we will count 1, 2, 3 and put a double crochet in that 4th bump. Okay, so here we go. I've just done 7 double crochets, including the chain 3. And then we will chain 3 again and go into every stitch. So this is a chain 3 for that double crochet, and we'll go into the next one. 1, 2. We're going to keep doing this until we reach a length that will fit all around the side of the panel. So altogether, you should have done about 60 rows of double crochet for the side panel. And if you somehow, ended up with more or less, it really does not matter, just as long as you have enough rows to fit around your panels. What I do is just get my panel and I will leave 1 row of double crochet up there, right? And we're gonna end up sewing all of this all around the side and up until over here. I'll show you guys how to sew everything together now. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys how to sew on the side panel to the back panel now. And you'll do the same thing for the front panel. So you're gonna get your tapestry needle and put the yarn through the eye of the needle. Oops. And then you're gonna line it up in a way where you're gonna be sewing from the inside. Editing Crystal here again, sorry. But I just wanted to say that I sewed from the inside and I also sewed from the outside, and I feel like I noticed a difference. And so I actually do suggest sewing as if you're sewing from the outside. I feel like that actually helps to give the bag more of a sturdy, boxy look. It could just be my own head, but I truly feel that way. So sew from the outside. Obviously, a lot of this, guys, you honestly just try to use your judgment. It's hard to explain, but so watch closely. Just make sure that it's at the right place and it's equal like this. So I'm gonna put my needle through the back panel and then put that through the side panel. Now, it is difficult to know where to put the needle through. Like, you don't want to go too much into here, but just use your judgment. I kind of just went through the middle of the chain 3. And you're gonna pull on the yarn, right? Pull on the yarn, pull a lot of yarn through, and you're gonna keep doing this throughout. Now, as you're sewing, you just try to make sure that you're lining up the rows equally for uniform, And so I just went through the back panel, through the side, and now I'm gonna go straight back to the back panel and try not to leave too much of a big gap and go back through the side. We're gonna end up doing this throughout the project, guys. So we're sewing on just like that. You see how nice and tight this is now? Pause. And then we go straight again into both panels and just pull it through. So this is called the whip stitch. And just make sure everything is really tight and secure, okay? We just do this throughout. So I'm gonna end up doing this all the way through. when we get to the side, we're gonna do it like that. We're just gonna, you know, pull on it a little bit and go like this. So sew everything onto this back panel, and then the same for the front panel. Okay, y'all, so hours later, I finished sewing the side panel to the back panel. This is what it's gonna be looking like. Next thing we're gonna do is just cut off this yarn, weave it in, and then attach the yarn again for this side. Now sew on the front panel. So you would do exactly the same thing, where we start sewing from the very top over here to this second row, like right here, and sew all the way over up until here, according to right here. So just leave one row out. As you're sewing the front panel to the side panel, make sure that everything is like aligned. So like the corner of this back panel should align with the corner of the front panel. You get me? Like, make sure that it's all equal and on the same sides. Okay guys, we are back and we're almost done. Oh, I'm so excited. Look how look it looks. Look how cute, pretty, autumny it looks. So it should look like this after you finish sewing. And oh my gosh, there's so much space. At this point, we are going to move on to the strap. Now, there should be one mini row of double crochet that's just kind of left unsewn. And from here, you'll just start doing single crochet until you reach like literally however long you want your strap to be. And then we're just gonna sew it back onto here. I would just chain one and then turn it. And this is just like the best way in my opinion to do it, because you don't know how long you want your bag to be until you know you're finished. So then you're gonna go straight back into that same stitch where we just chained one, and we will single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then the last 8 one will be right in that chain 3. Then you're gonna chain one again, turn your work, and go straight into that same stitch where we chained one, and then continue on with that same pattern until you reach a length where you think you want your strap to stop. Don't make it too long because crochet stretches. So just keep that in mind. And you should always have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You should have 8. All right, so we are on the last step. Yay. And so what you're gonna do is get your strap. Once you've finished the length that you want your strap to be, you're gonna chain one at the end of the row like this. And then you're gonna pull your yarn through and leave a long tail like this. This is how long my tail is. Put your yarns through that needle. We're gonna go right back inside of this stitch over here. And so this is the chain one, right? And this is the full stitch like this. And we are going to align it to the last stitch of the side of the row and just pull the needle through A little bit slow because there's a lot of yarns. There we go. And then we're just gonna go right back here to the next stitch and then the one according like this. It's hard to explain, guys, but you can see what I mean. See what I'm doing. So I don't think this is the whip stitch. I forgot what this stitch is called. But we're just sewing it all together. Okay, and make sure it's really nice and tight. So we're doing that throughout the row, back to the next stitch on the strap, and the third stitch on here, and pull through. Okay, make sure it's nice and tight, and you can see we're sewing it nicely. I'm going to do it one more time. Like this. And that's it, guys. So make sure that you are paying attention to where you're sewing. Then we're gonna just weave this in somewhere that's nice and doesn't look too obvious. And we're done. Cut it off and we're done. All right, so now for the flowers, like the additional kind of things that we add on top. Now, guys, I would be lying if I said to you like that I have this written pattern for the flowers. I don't give a I just do whatever. I freehand it and then I just stick it on there. But I will still like link below flower patterns, or you can just read what I have written on top here. Typically what I do is I will make the flower itself, right? So the circle and then the petals. Then I'll just make the circle with a different yarn and kind of thread it through. And I don't cut off anything because we need that to sew it onto the actual bag. So read this pattern above, or just go to another video if you want a different kind of flower. So this is the design I'd like to do for this bag. You can do a lot of different things, but I just did like a row of single crochet and then turned it into a bow. This is also how I made this little rose or whatever this is that I did. I just did it like a row of double crochet, I'm pretty sure, and then put it in a spiral kind of motion and sewed it on. For this commission, she doesn't actually want too many things on it, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. This will wear out quicker if you do not add lining, so please add lining. I would love to give you guys a full tutorial, but literally my storage is like done, so I can't. But this is how I added lining last time. Now, this is really ugly, but it works. Like, it's lasted me so long. It's just a pillowcase, and I literally just took a tapestry needle and just went all around and made it fit in the bag. So that's a way you could add lining. Maybe that can be like my next video, like how to add lining. So please add lining. If you're sewing a button, sew it on the 10th row of the front panel. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You'll sew it in the middle and it will close like this. Remember that it will stretch a bit over time, so it's good to sew it just a bit further than what you think. Okay guys, so here's the finished bag. The only thing I haven't done is added lining yet. I also added this really cute 4-leaf clover charm. The best thing about this project is that you can add so many beads, charms, and like just different things, guys, to really spice it up and like take it up a notch. I'm gonna add a bobby pin to this because I feel like she would rather have dark brown, but I just love pink, so I want to give her that option. I hope you guys like this tutorial. Thank you for watching.